Now, a religious think tank is suggesting that Christians think about wearing white poppies to mark Remembrance Day rather than red ones, and you've been telling us what you think about it.
A former guardsman who's not given their name says one poppy is enough. It's not just about commemoration, it's about the ones that survived. The Royal British Legion needs funds to help survivors and their relatives.
Jean Purdy from Manchester agrees the red poppy has nothing to do with redemption or glorification of war. It's sold to raise much-needed funds to support those injured or bereaved by military service. It's worn to remember those who gave their lives.
Retired member of the RAF, Reverend Bernard Rumbold, says nobody in my church will be confusing the red poppy with a theology of redemption on Sunday morning. They'll be giving thanks for those who in the past and today lay down their lives for our security and safety.
Well, the think tank concerned in this is Ekklesia, and Jonathan Barkley from Ekklesia joins us now, as does Stuart Gendel from, or is it Glendale? Gendel, I think, from the Royal British Legion. Jonathan, let's start with you, if we may. We've had an awful lot of emails on this subject. Some are saying it's thought-provoking. I have to tell you, the vast majority keep repeating the word offensive. They feel that your report is actually offending their remembrance of loved ones in many instances, the people who made enormous sacrifices, and certainly one correspondent described it as the worst kind of gimmickry.
I think the important point to make out is there's been some rather mischievous reporting in some of the press today. We haven't produced a report. It was just an article in the Church Times newspaper. And what it said was perhaps we should consider wearing the white poppy alongside the red poppy. I've made my donation to the British Legion. My dad was at Normandy. What we are advocating really is a diversity and saying there's a situation in public life where the red poppy is the symbol of remembrance. However, there are other people, conscientious objectors, for example, who down the years have worn white poppies. And actually the white poppy dates back to the late 20s, early 30s, when the women's cooperative movement, who had lost people during the First World War, asked the British Legion to print "No More War" in the middle of their poppies. This didn't happen, so the white poppy was born. And so this isn't a new fad, it's something that's been going on for years. And what we're saying is actually the white poppy could be a very good way of getting people to remember who are rather turned off by some of the patriotic associations, rightly or wrongly, that the red poppy has.
Well, what do the Royal British Legion think of that?
Well, we believe that the red poppy is an internationally recognised symbol of remembrance. And as one of your email correspondents said, it does an awful lot to raise money for the funds for the welfare of those people living today. The Legion would have no objection to people wearing a red and white poppy. People would need to be clear, though, that if they're making a donation to the white poppy, that actually they won't be making a donation to the welfare of soldiers. But certainly the idea of freedom of choice is what those people gave their lives for those many years ago in the First World War and are continuing to do that today.
Are you not slightly concerned, though, Stuart Gendel, there is almost, as Jonathan Barkley says, or at least the article in the Church Times says, a kind of political correctness that everybody in public life is now expected to wear a poppy. So that choice that you talk about is actually limited to some degree.
I don't believe it's anything to do with expectation. It's freedom of choice. And
are you sure about that, really?
We would say that everybody can make the choice to wear a poppy. We are absolutely delighted with the support that we get from all the echelons of society. We're really proud of the fact that we have this moment in the calendar year where people do recognise the poppy as a symbol of remembrance, and that we have a massive national turnout at the time of Remembrance Sunday, and people mark the 2-minute silence in the way they do. We surveyed about 1,500 adults very recently to ask them their opinion about remembrance, and over 85% of them said that they thought it was as relevant today to them as ever before, and 81% of people aged between 28 and 39 said they thought it was relevant to them today. So we're very, very pleased by that this message is taken up by a younger generation.